Schrains did not say that he's not coming.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, let's get started.
This is Kirby.
Totally.
Is she on speaker?
He's not whatever you think he is.
Yes, hopefully.
I'm here.
Okay, you can hear, okay. All right, good evening. I'd like to call the August 8th meeting of the Edison Public Library Board to order. Let the minutes reflect that it is 7:02 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
It's just for
As required by the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, adequate notice of this scheduled meeting has been provided to the public by notices given to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, and Sentinel, posted on the library bulletin boards and website, and given to the Township Clerk's office. Roll call, please.
Ms. Kraus?
Absent, that's an excused absence.
Ms. O'Neill?
Present.
Ms. Mead?
Here.
Ms. Pam?
here.
Mr. Di Pasquale?
He's also an excused absence.
Mr. Patel? Ms. Leary?
She's an excused absence.
Mr. Romano?
Here.
And Ms. Massey?
Here.
You have a quorum, Ms. Massey.
Okay, and you did call, Jyoti. Did you call Jyoti? I didn't hear, I didn't. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. So we do have a quorum, even
Yeah.
though you don't see 5 of us up here. You can see Jyoti on the screen. All right, hopefully everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from July 11th from the regular session. Do you have any questions or comments about those minutes?
I will have to abstain since I was not here, so if you don't, do you have a quorum to approve them, or should we table that to next month?
Yeah, I would think that we will have to table it till next month,
Okay.
unless Shreyans comes soon, and then we can do it towards the end.
We addressed that.
Right, okay, we'll table. All right, it has been very busy, even though it's the summer months. The Friends of the Edison Public Library is going to have their organization meeting tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock at the Clara Barton branch. And I just want to make sure that everybody realizes that the Friends of the Edison Public Library is for everyone in Edison. It's not just for the community that lives close to Clara Barton branch, it's for everyone. And I hope you're able to, if you cannot attend, I hope you do wind up joining the Friends. And I do want to note that the bookmobile was a huge hit at the National Night Out at Edison that took place on August 1st. It really was a great event. The weather was beautiful. And there were there was a lot of participation, but the bookmobile was fabulous. And that is it for my report. We'll move on to the financial reports. No, hopefully everyone had an opportunity to review the financial reports ending July 31st, 2023. Do we have any questions about the operating capital or North Edison account? Okay. Do we have any questions about the bill list?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. I'd just like to know, Alan, about the atrium payroll services for the temp librarian. There are 12 entries. Do we have 12 people, or is this for 1, 2, 3, or 4 people, or how is that working?
Deborah can tell you currently how many people do we have on the roster that are rotating with us.
I think we do have about 4, but they bill weekly.
So each one of these
Yeah.
is a weekly.
It's a weekly billing for the month with 4?
The way that Edmonds does it, it separates them so we actually can see and get a better picture of it rather than one number.
And
So
these are actual librarians, and do we have any, done any advertising to get librarians? Are people just not interested in working for Edison, or?
It's been slow in hiring. We just had, well, I guess Jill, our new older adult services librarian will be starting on Thursday. We have another children's librarian starting at the end of the month. And Deborah and some of the supervising library assistants have been hiring for part-time library assistant positions the last couple of weeks. And we have 3 for me to interview with Deborah on Friday for second interviews.
How many employees do we currently have?
A little under 50, I'd have to double check. I can get you that. Actually, Amanda, since she does the payroll, she has a better number than I do. She said it might be 39 by now,
39?
without the new employees on there, yeah.
Does that, I'm sorry, does that include the temps?
No, that's the ones that we do payroll for.
Okay, and the Communico subscription, that's $8,000? Is
Yeah.
that yearly?
Yes, this is the second year we have Communico. That's the software that we used for our events calendar, for people to register for events, for us to keep track of statistics for the events, for us to book the meeting rooms. So this is year 2. So last year, we, with startup costs, so this is about half of the startup cost. So this is going to be the annual subscription cost.
Annual subscription. That's a lot.
I'm going to say, and I know it may sound very trite, nothing seems to be cheap these days anymore.
No, you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, all of the library software is competitive with other kinds of software, and it's essential for us to really do business these days. We wouldn't think of having people call to register,
No, they gotta
48
register
programs a month.
online.
So,
Yeah.
we picked this one last year because it is one of the best out there. And it, for us, can do a lot more. For example, if we want to just print out and create calendar just for a particular branch, we can do that. Patron can do that at home. I just want to see all the programs at Clara Barton. Well, you can put in Clara Barton, the programs for adults, and they can get their own individualized list. If you want to just see children's programs, you can click 2 buttons and get all your children's programs for the month with a calendar that you can print out at home. So it gives us a lot of flexibility, which is why we chose Communico.
Okay. All right, moving on down. We have Hughes Environmental. Are we having a lot of problems with the AC in Clara Barton? Because it looks
We-
like that's
and
like, a
when-
weekly thing.
We're not done. I would honestly say all of our units have had problems over the last 6 months, and we're trying to go branch by branch for the most emergent things that we do. Even though these units seem to be new, they all have
I'm not
issues.
sure Clara is, but I know Maine is, because I know we replaced that, was
Right.
a few years ago, but, the life of an air conditioning unit should be a good 15 years.
Yeah, except that just through regular issues, all of them. For example, today we had a freezing up on one of the units, and so what it did was it
That's all.
started dripping water. And so the remedy for that is those coils have to be cleaned. So that's not something that one would leave for 16 years. I don't think we've cleaned coils in my tenure.
I thought we had a maintenance agreement.
Yes, it doesn't include that. Even the one we had with a prior company didn't include that either. So,
Can't they at least look at it and address it? If you have a maintenance agreement, aren't they supposed to come out every once in a while? And then they could look at something, address it, and then take care of it?
well, that's what we're doing now is we're gonna have to have the coils cleaned so we don't continually have this freezing. But after, I mean, I have to say, staffing is our first highest cost. The second highest, I shouldn't say cost, pleasure is books and materials. After that, it's really building maintenance and all these building issues. We've got now 3 buildings and a mobile unit. And I'm going to say this, and I know this is what, it's like every day, there's something wrong somewhere
Just
in
like
one of
when
the
you
3
own a house.
buildings with something. It just doesn't go, there just doesn't seem to be a day going by that we just don't have a problem with these buildings. The HVAC systems, the air conditioning, the heating, the leaks, the plumbing. It's just, if it's not one, 2 weeks ago, we came into the main library in the men's bathroom, and the sink was literally pulled away from the wall. So someone leaned on it to a point that, so everything. I think one of the things I have to say, the building maintenance is one thing, but the more we get used, the more the building gets used.
Of course.
And it's like, and I'll give you this, and I don't mean to be, crash about this, but we're ending up buying more toilet paper because the more people that come in, the more people are using the bathroom. And it's not like they're taking it. I mean, the lines to the bathroom are like in this building, because in and out all day long, like from the minute we open to the minute we close. And so, it's like, Robbie, we just bought toilet paper and towels and whatever. They're gone. They're literally gone. So, I mean, that's just the nature of a building that's all 3, well, we have one building used 7 days a week, over 60 hours a week. We have 2 buildings that are used 6 days a week, close to 60 hours a week. Public buildings get a different kind of use than even a school, which gets at least a little rest in the summer and at 3 o'clock. Our buildings get no rest. So I would love to have you come and take a tour, and we'll show you all these little bits and pieces and all these problems. Just give me a call, and I will show you. But hopefully, once we've gone through this whole thing, in which everything's fixed, we at least have a starting point to say, these were fixed, this was when, like, why is this continuing? Is this unit too old? Do we need to replace it, et cetera? So, I mean,
Now, with the HVAC thing with North Edison, are we getting a new system? With the
there are going to
expansion?
be 3 new units. One new unit in the back for the new addition, for the, I'll call it the garden room, whatever we want to, we don't have a name for it. But the extension to the back that goes between the ends of the building and the Fireman's Monument. And 2 separate units, one for the new extended children's auditorium on one side of the building, and one other unit on the other side of the building with the new expanded
Are they going to be
auditorium.
VRF systems that are usually more affordable?
Excuse me?
Are they going to be VRF systems that are usually more affordable?
I don't know, they haven't been spec'd out yet.
No.
I mean, we haven't even gotten to that part. We're still working on numbers with all of the engineers to make sure we can come in somewhere near close calculations, but
Yeah, right.
Are there any other questions about the bill list?
I love talking about the buildings.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay.
What is letsprintbaby.com? I don't remember seeing
They
that.
are,
What'd I do, take your question?
That's
Take
all
all my
right.
glory. Go
That's
ahead.
all right. You just list them all.
they do our printing, and they do our novelty printing. They're located here on Amboy Avenue, so there's a local place that Michael has been working with. I mean, we always thought it was we thought it was a funny name for a company, but that's the
So
name for
they,
their company.
what do they print? You don't do in-house printing?
Well, this was, for example, we did printing of pencils and cups that we do as giveaways for summer reading and when we go on the bookmobile. We also did, they did our business cards for the supervisory staff. So they do a variety of stuff. That's what we use them for.
Oh, okay, promotional materials for $5,000 is a lot. All right, did I have any other questions? I'm getting there. No, they're all pretty normal, I think. Did I miss something, Fiona?
You just threw me off. The garage door repairs, I see those are from December, and then one for,
Yes, from
I'm
22.
Fiona, I'm sorry, but I can't hear.
the garage door repairs? What buildings were those for?
I am not sure. I think they were for all. And the reason was we had Maine. I think these were one from, the only place we have a garage is Maine.
Yeah, it's Maine.
So
It's only
it was for
yeah, and these
each one of the
bills are
doors.
Yeah, and two of them are from last year.
Right, and they never billed us. They didn't bill us until they did the new one, and then they realized we never did it. We also seem to have, and we now have a major problem that we're gonna have to work out with the bookmobile bay. The bay itself, the bottom piece, is cracking. And so we have to see how we can get someone in to replace that. So we've got a piece of wood stuck in there for the moment. But I guess I would honestly say the weight of the bookmobile going over that bottom piece of metal over all the years, it also looks like I guess it's the original or it was the add-ons from the 70s, the garages. So they've been pretty much sitting there since then.
All right, so
Yes.
That's short, right? All right, so I have a problem with them coming on the 13th of December and then coming back on the 19th. What was done on the
I mean,
13th?
I can't tell you, I don't have the bills in front of me. That's why I do ask, I mean, I can tell you tomorrow.
Okay, that's
by
fine.
looking at the bills, but I can't tell because we get limited space to put stuff in here. So if there's anything you see before the meeting, just let us know and I can pull that and bring it with me. And then that would have the details on it. So I'll scan those and send them out to you tomorrow, so you could see all those.
Any other questions?
Oh,
Is that it?
That enough.
All right.
Today.
Hearing none. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
$70 million. This is peanuts.
I was waiting for Joe to say that. Ms. O'Neill,
Yes.
Ms. Mead,
Yes.
Ms. Pam,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes.
and Ms. Massey.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. All right, now we'll move to the director's report and the assistant director's report.
I think I've already pretty much said a bit. We've been quite busy, and I would probably say, based on what I hear from my peers, we're doing better than a lot of other libraries. We are slightly busier than I would say we have been the last 2 years. But like everyone else, we're not back to pre-COVID numbers. Even the bookmobile stops are not the same as they once were, in which people were lining up for an hour. But it's gonna take time for people to come back. It's interesting to see that the how the three different buildings are used differently. And I would say, actually, one noticeable difference this summer is I would probably say that Clara is, and we, looking at circulation numbers, some days doing unbelievable circ. So people, I think, are discovering that branch one by one, and they're finding it. Also, the number of programs that we've done in July and the ones for August are phenomenal, and it's bringing people into all the branches. I myself got to enjoy one of the children's programs and sing along with the children's and the parents and the grandparents just to see how things were going at Clara. So I think generally things are okay. One of the things that I think we've never really talked about and probably need to document a little bit more is Maine does have a homeless population. And it does seem that we go through one or two people at a time, and then we don't ever see them again. They stay for a couple of weeks. And that's, I would say, at least half of them sometimes have been problematic in that they violate the library's code of conduct. And we did have an incident recently in which we did call the police department to escort someone out of the building. But it's something that I'm hopeful that when our social work intern comes from Rutgers in the fall, that this will be good, practical, something that she can help with and see what life really is like, because our other two branches do not have those similar kind of situations. So, I mean, I think that's something that we're going to see if we can provide staff with additional training as we start to meet with the union's safety committee and see if probably homelessness is definitely one of the big issues that we have to deal with on a regular basis. I should say the staff has to really deal with it on a regular basis, would you say? Otherwise, I think really have been good. One of the things I think, just two highlights, just to follow up Ms. Massey, it was a phenomenal night for the library to have the bookmobile at Night Out. Literally hundreds of people went through the bookmobile. It was, people were taking pictures. They were putting their kids, on the steps and taking pictures and sending them literally all over the world. It was great. Michael and I attended a veterans event that we were invited to, which basically I highlighted in my report, but was a good start for us, even though very few veterans came to that event. It was more to show the service providers some of the things that the VA hospitals could do. So we made a lot of contacts, and particularly the Middlesex County Office of Veterans would like to do something with us. So we're looking at perhaps having something starting in the fall, maybe once a month through just an open whatever. We're not sure yet, but every time we go to an event, it's good for us to go and to be out there. Yesterday, I went to the Middlesex County Fair, had a great time, saw Amanda there. But I went in to look at the vegetables and then talking to the people from the 4-H. And and I said, I'm from the library and all this. Well, you should go talk to the master gardeners. So I talked to the master gardeners, and we're gonna have them start to set up and do programs for us again. So part of going out and us being visible helps us connect with the community. So this has been a lot of connections for us this month, and I think they've been all very, very positive, and will help us continue to be more relevant to the people that live in Edison. The more we find out what people are looking for, and the more different kinds of services we could provide. We're also, the state library has a new grant, and we're looking into what that would require. It would be a construction grant, and it's aimed towards providing spaces within the library for people to have access to work, to get health information, and to have a place for learning. So this might be something that can fund some of our AV equipment and some of our quiet studies in the main library. So we're working on that, and I would probably say we will go for it. We have nothing to lose. So I will bring that to the September meeting, because all these grants always require board approval, so that the board knows what's going on. So that's pretty much from my end. Anything else you want to add that's not in your report or highlight?
Yeah, I think just to clarify or to add on to what Alan was saying also about the issue with the unhoused at Maine, it's usually not like any type of negative circumstance other than like some damage to the structures or something. It's not like bad they've all, for the most part, been very pleasant and nice. It's just sometimes there are issues with, them damaging the building or something thereabouts. Then also, I just wanted to add that Caroline and the librarians are starting on the fall program, so hopefully that'll be out soon and we can start advertising for those.
Thank you. Any questions?
I guess there were just a couple of things on my list here, one of which I think we'll be going into closed session for, and I think you've mentioned some of the others, and I've mentioned some of the others. Some of that will be mentioned in committee reports, so I'm good for the moment.
Okay, did you have a question?
Yeah, so, and I don't remember what city it was, but it is in New Jersey. So I want to commend you for keeping the library open. There is a town in New Jersey, like I said, I don't remember, that they're closing their libraries, and they just don't see it as an integral part of their community. And it's just so nice to hear that, we've always had North and Maine have, people coming through, but now that Clara Barton has picked up with their attendance, it's just nice to hear that we, and you especially, you're keeping the library a part of the community and going out to the community and letting them know that we do have a library and we are active with them.
Well, thank you. And I think, one of the best marketing pieces for us now really is the bookmobile, because people see it all over town. And, it's got library all over it. And so, and I think, we're evolving as a library. We've been evolving over the last couple of years, and we probably will be different in how we even serve our public once our new spaces are renovated. We'll be able to do things we weren't able to do before, and provide new services. And, we use the strategic plan as a guide, but things evolve. until, I'll just use this for example, until we went to this veterans event, we'd never had veterans as one of our priorities that we should be looking at. And there are a lot of veterans in Edison, and I think there are things that the library can do for those recently out of the service and for those who have been out of the service more than recently. So as we work on each one of these groups and work with them, we get a better idea of what they're looking for. And some of it might just be, can you just give us a space we can meet to have a rap group once a month and a benefit. And one of the things we've seen grow is working with the township with just literally giving space for Holly and her group to meet, anonymously in the library. And North and Main has been a big plus. No one needs to know why you're coming to the library. And our literacy too, I think that as well, and our citizenship classes. So slowly but surely, we're evolving more positively to meet the needs of the community.
Yes, any other comments or questions? All right, hearing none, we'll move to the committee reports. And I do have to say that this month flew by, and so we didn't actually have any committee meetings. Facilities, a lot is happening with the North Edison branch construction bond, but nothing much to report. It's just that the engineers are now working on putting together their plans and figures so that we will be able to go out to, for bid on actual construction. Finance, we will have to meet to discuss the audit. Personnel wanted to meet, but we weren't able to finish up with that. And the same with policies and bylaws. We have one policy, we're just about finished with the tutoring policy, but that was not ready to present this evening. And strategic planning was put on hold until the fall. So that's about it, unless Fiona or Sue, do you have anything that you want to say about the committees?
No, we did meet a little bit with personnel, but as always,
Right,
they
but we
are
didn't-
private, and we're not discussing
Right, we
that in
can't,
open
no.
forum. But we are keeping on top of everything.
Yes, we are.
And it is a big vacation month, so,
Right.
that's why things
It's
have been a
difficult
little bit,
to get everybody
yeah.
together.
and fall's approaching quickly.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So do we have any old business that we have to attend to? I don't believe so. And new business, we do have new business with finance. The finance committee did communicate, but as I said, we did not meet. We have a resolution to renew the current certificates of deposit in the amount of $500,000, $500,000, and $1 million for a total of $2 million that's held in TD Bank on their maturity date of 9/11/23 for another 6 months. And the reason that this is brought up today is because the maturity date is right before our next meeting. So, does anybody want to make that resolution?
Sure, I make a motion that we approve it.
All right, any second?
Seconded.
All right. Roll call vote, please.
Okay. Miss O'Neill,
Yes.
Miss Mead,
Yes.
Miss Pam,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes.
and Miss Massey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, do we have any public comment? All right. Margot, is there anything that you would like to add, or?
Sure, just that on July 26th, council approved the 2023 budget, and that in a nutshell, it's about a 3.6% increase for the municipal taxes. There's some adjustments being made, so hopefully it's a take and not a give on that. The good news was that there is a zero increase in property taxes, and so hopefully those two things will cancel each other out. But that was the big news from the council meeting of July 26th. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have any trustee comments or questions?
I spoke enough.
All right. Now, we do need to go in for a brief closed session. I do not believe that it will require, there will not be any action when we come back that we need to take. But whereas the Open Public Meeting Act provides for the exclusion of the public at Board of Trustees meetings during the discussion of certain matters, and whereas prior to the exclusion of the public from a Board of Trustees meeting, it is required that the board adopt a resolution stating the general nature of the subject to be discussed and stating as precisely as possible the time when the minutes of the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public. And whereas this body is about to consider a matter which falls within the purview of NJSA 10-4-12 and can properly exclude the public from such discussions, now therefore be it resolved that the Edison Public Library Board of Trustees shall enter into a closed session to consider legal issues. It is further resolved that the minutes of said discussion shall be made public as soon as the matter under discussion is no longer of a confidential nature. So do we have a motion to go into closed session?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, we are now in closed session.
These are new brand spanking new chairs.
milk, so. Thought my tenure in Evergreen Catholic, who knows? I didn't.
All right, do we have a motion to return to open session?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Do we have a motion? Do we have any other? No, we do not. Are there any announcements?
Other than the next meeting in September?
The next meeting, the next regular meeting is Tuesday, September 12th at the Municipal Building. And keep in mind that September is National Library Card Sign-Up Month. So if you don't have a library card, stop at one of the branches, including the Bookmobile, and get your library card. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right. This meeting is adjourned at 7:52. Thank you.
Short, sweet, to the point.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Yes.
Thank you, Joe. I will let you know what's happening. Okay, all right, and I'll give him a call in the afternoon.
The problem is,